The twin suns of Vayara colony dipped low, painting the sky with orange and violet streaks. Ethan Cross wiped the sweat from his brow as he tightened the last bolt on the damaged energy conduit. Being an engineer wasn't glamorous, but someone had to keep the colony's systems alive. He often said machines made more sense than people. Machines broke, but at least they told you why. Today, though, was different. As he worked near the forest edge, Ethan heard soft footsteps behind him. Turning, he saw a girl, though not human. She had pale silver skin that shimmered faintly, large violet eyes that reflected the fading light, and hair like threads of blue crystal. She looked fragile, almost like glass. Ethan froze, tools still in his hands. Hello? The alien girl tilted her head, curious but cautious. Her voice, when it came, was soft and melodic. You are human? That's me, Ethan said, forcing a smile. Ethan Cross. Engineer. And you are? I am Lyra, she said. I should not be here. She glanced nervously at the darkening forest, as though something watched from between the trees. Before Ethan could ask, a screech split the air. A shadow moved among the trees, fast, low, and hunting. Lyra gasped. The Venari! Ethan had only heard rumors. The Venari were insectoid predators, feared even by hardened traders. Chitin armor, blades for arms, venomous fangs. They were nightmares given form. One of them burst from the undergrowth, its body black and glistening, its mandibles clicking hungrily, its many eyes fixed on Lyra. She stumbled back, terror in her face. Ethan reacted before he could think. He stepped in front of her, raising only the heavy wrench he had been working with. The Venari hissed, coiling like a spring. Then it lunged. Ethan swung the wrench with all his strength, striking the creature's side. The metal rang against its shell, but the blow only angered it. It knocked the tool from his hands with a swift slash of its arm blades. The creature reared up, fangs dripping. It went for Lyra. Run! Ethan shouted, and without hesitation he shoved her out of the way. The Venari's jaws closed around his shoulder instead. The bite was fire, pure agony ripping through his body. Ethan cried out, feeling venom flood his veins. He expected darkness, death, the end. But something strange happened. His vision sharpened. Every detail of the forest around him came into focus. The rough bark on trees, the tiny sparks of dust in the air, even the heartbeat of Lyra pounding behind him. His muscles surged with strength, raw energy thrumming through him. His skin glowed faintly, blue light tracing the paths of his veins. The Venari screeched and recoiled. Its venom had always killed swiftly, yet this human still stood. Worse, he was changing. Ethan staggered but did not fall. He clenched his fists, and energy crackled faintly between them. He swung at the Venari, and to his own shock the blow knocked the predator back several steps, cracking its chitin shell. What is happening to me? Ethan whispered through gritted teeth. Lyra stared at him with wide eyes. The venom, it should kill you. No one survives a Venari bite. The creature hissed in confusion and backed away. Then, sensing danger it could not understand, it turned and fled into the forest, vanishing into the shadows. Ethan dropped to his knees, his body burning from the inside out. The glow in his veins flickered like lightning beneath his skin. His breaths came ragged, each one heavier than the last. Lyra rushed to his side, kneeling beside him. Her hands trembled as she touched his arm. You saved me. But the venom, it changes you. Ethan's head swam. His body felt both powerful and broken at the same time. He wanted to speak, but only managed a faint smile. Guess I'm full of surprises. Lyra's eyes glistened with something between awe and fear. She whispered words that chilled him even as the world faded into darkness. What are you? Ethan's eyes fluttered open to a soft, cool light. His head throbbed, his muscles ached. But he was alive. For a moment, he didn't move, unsure if the excruciating bite from the Venari was a memory or a dream. Then he noticed he wasn't alone. The room was circular, made of smooth white walls that seemed to glow faintly from within. Strange devices lined the edges, humming softly, and around him were beings, tall, elegant, and humanoid, but unmistakably alien. Their silver-blue skin shimmered in the soft light, and their large violet eyes regarded him with a mixture of curiosity and caution. "Where am I?" Ethan croaked, his voice hoarse. "You are safe," said one of them, stepping closer. Her voice was calm and firm. "I am Soria, a healer of the Aelari. You were bitten by a Venari. Most would not survive." Ethan blinked. "Most not survive?" His mind struggled to connect the words. I should be dead." Soria inclined her head. "Indeed. But something within you reacted differently. The venom did not destroy your body. Instead, it awakened something." Ethan tried to sit up, only to have another healer gently place a hand on his chest. Warmth spread from her touch, and his racing heartbeat slowed. "Something awakened? What is happening to me?" Soria exchanged a glance with another Aelari, a tall elder with silver hair that shimmered like moonlight. The elder stepped forward. "You carry the spark of a guardian human, one who rises when darkness approaches. That venom should have ended your life. Instead, it has given you power, though it is raw and dangerous." Ethan felt a strange heat coursing through him. When he flexed his fingers, faint blue energy danced across his skin. He recoiled slightly. "Power? What do you mean, dangerous?" Soria knelt beside him. "The Venari bite did not only fail to kill you, it bonded with your life force. It is giving you abilities beyond human limits, strength, speed, senses that surpass your kind, but your body was not built for it. You must learn control, or the power will consume you." Ethan swallowed hard. "So, I'm like a superhuman?" He tried to laugh, but it sounded hollow. "Great, I didn't ask for this. I'm just an engineer." Lyra appeared silently at the edge of the chamber. She had changed her clothes into a simple tunic, her hair tied back, and her violet eyes were fixed on him. "You saved me," she said softly. "I don't care what you are now. I know you would have done it for anyone." Ethan looked at her and managed a weak smile. Her presence was calming. "Yeah, I guess I didn't have much choice." Soria observed them both. "Lyra, he will need guidance. The power within him is strong, but it is untamed. He could protect us, or destroy himself and others." The elder stepped closer, his expression serious. "Ethan Cross, you have a decision. You can leave this place and live as a human, but the Venari will not leave you alone. Or you can accept this gift and help us defend the Aelari from a threat that will return." Ethan's mind reeled. Defend them? He was just a man who had stumbled into danger. He had no training, no experience as a warrior. Yet the memory of the Venari attacking Lyra, their fangs poised, flashed before his eyes. If he had done nothing, she would be dead. I don't know if I can," he admitted, shaking his head. "You can," Lyra said firmly. "Because you already have. You survived the bite. That was the first step. Now we can help you learn to control it. Together." Soria extended her hands. A soft, glowing energy flowed from her palms into Ethan. He felt it weave through his body, stabilizing the chaotic force inside him. For the first time since the bite, he felt steady, strong, but steady. Over the next few hours, Soria guided him through simple exercises. He lifted objects twice his weight effortlessly. He could run across the room without touching the floor, in one step. His senses sharpened. He could hear the hum of machines outside, the soft rustle of Lyra's hair as she moved, even the distant call of a bird-like creature in the forest beyond. Ethan was amazed and terrified. Every moment he felt more human and more something else at the same time. As night fell over the colony, the soft glow of the chamber seemed almost peaceful, but a shadow loomed outside. Soria paused, her expression troubled. "The Venari, Scout has reported your survival to their queen. She knows a human carries power. She will come." Ethan swallowed, a cold dread settling in his chest. He had survived the bite. He had awakened strange powers. And now, he had a target on his back. Lyra placed a hand on his arm. "We will help you. You're not alone." Ethan looked at her, and for the first time in days, hope sparked in his chest. He wasn't just a human engineer anymore, he was something more, something capable of standing against the darkness. The Ailari began to share their history, their culture, and their struggles. They told stories of Venari raids, of generations lost, and of a prophecy of a guardian who would rise from another world. Ethan listened, absorbing every word, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on him. By the time he lay down to rest, his body still thrumming with new energy, he understood one thing clearly. Life had changed forever. He could never go back to being just an ordinary human. And far beyond the safety of the chamber in the dark reaches of the forest, the Venari queen stirred. Her many eyes glowed in anger and curiosity. Something alive and powerful had survived. Her bite. Something she had never expected. Ethan's journey had begun. The next morning, Ethan awoke to the soft hum of the Ailari chamber. Light poured through the translucent walls, giving everything a serene glow. His body still throbbed with the strange energy that had awakened after the Venari bite. But he no longer felt weak or terrified. Instead, a quiet determination stirred within him. Lyra was waiting. Her violet eyes were alert, and she had brought him simple training clothes. "Today," she said, "we begin learning to control your power." Ethan groaned. "I'm not a fighter, I'm an engineer. I fix machines, not this." Lyra's expression was calm but firm. "I know, but you survived the Venari bite when no human should have. That means something. That means you can, and I will help you." Soria arrived shortly after, her presence gentle but commanding. "Control comes first," she said. "Strength without control is dangerous. We will begin slowly." The training began in the courtyard outside the chamber. Ethan's first lesson was simple: focus his energy. He was to lift a small stone with only his will. Concentrating, he felt the energy hum through him, his veins glowing faintly blue. The stone trembled, then rose into the air, hovering in front of him. Ethan blinked. "I did it," Lyra smiled. "Good. Now hold it steady." Minutes passed and sweat dripped from his brow. The stone wavered, fell, then lifted again. Every time he lost focus, the energy surged uncontrollably, making his muscles spasm. But slowly, he learned to steady it. Next came speed and agility. Ethan ran across the training field, leaping over obstacles that would have been impossible moments ago. His body moved with incredible precision, his senses alert to every sound, every movement. He could feel the wind shift, the grass bend under his feet, and even Lyra's heartbeat as she watched. "This is incredible," Ethan said, panting. "I can feel everything." Soria nodded. "Your senses are heightened, yes, but that also makes you vulnerable. You must learn to filter what you perceive, to focus on what is important." Hours passed, and Ethan pushed his body further than ever before. Lyra guided him through exercises that required both mind and body, balancing on narrow ledges, dodging energy blasts simulated by the Ailari trainers, and navigating obstacle courses designed to test control under pressure. By midday, he felt exhausted, but alive in a way he had never known. Every step, every movement was filled with purpose. The raw, chaotic energy of the Venari venom was beginning to obey him. During a short break, Ethan sat with Lyra beneath a tree. "This is a lot," he admitted. "I don't even know what I'm becoming." "You are becoming someone who can protect others," Lyra said softly. "Someone who doesn't have to watch helplessly while others are in danger. That is your gift. That is your choice." Her words struck him. He remembered the Venari leaping for her, the terror in her eyes and the fear that had frozen him before he acted. He realized now that the power he carried was not just for himself. It was a responsibility, a way to stand against darkness. As the sun climbed higher, the Aelari elders arrived. One, named Kalen, watched Ethan closely. "The legends speak of a guardian," Kalen said, "a being born of another world who rises in times of need. Perhaps the legends were true, and perhaps you are that guardian." Ethan shook his head. "I don't feel like a guardian. I feel like a man who got lucky, and then got bit by a poisonous insect." Kalen smiled faintly. "Luck has nothing to do with it. Courage does. You acted without hesitation to save a life. That is the mark of one who can rise above fear. The rest is training." The training resumed in the afternoon with combat exercises. Ethan sparred with Lyra, who moved with grace and speed that belied her youth. He learned to channel his energy into his strikes, making his blows stronger and faster. Each movement sent sparks of energy along his veins, and sometimes he could feel the power bursting out unintentionally, knocking back Lyra. But she never faltered, always returning to guide him. Ethan laughed despite the effort. "I feel like I'm in one of those hollow sim games, except everything actually hurts if I mess up." Lyra laughed too, a bright melodic sound that eased his tension. "Except this is real, and you can't give up." By evening, Ethan was exhausted, muscles trembling, but a sense of accomplishment filled him. He had lifted objects heavier than he had thought possible, dodged attacks at impossible speeds, and learned to steady the energy that had once threatened to overwhelm him. Soria observed quietly. "You progress faster than we expected," she said. "But the Venari Queen will not wait. She knows a human carries power. Soon she will send her swarm to test him. You must be ready." Ethan felt a chill. He had survived one Venari attack, but now he understood the danger was far from over. "Then I need to get better," he said firmly. "Faster." Lyra nodded. "And you will. We will train together. You are not alone." As night fell over the colony, Ethan stood on the training field, looking at the twin moons above the forest. He felt the energy within him hum softly, a reminder of the bite that had changed everything. He realized the truth. He could not escape what had happened. The power was part of him now. And somewhere in the darkness, beyond the safety of the Aelari stronghold, the Venari Queen watched. She would come. She would test him, and Ethan knew that one day soon he would have to face her, not as a frightened human, but as something more. For the first time, he did not feel fear. He felt resolve. He had survived the bite. He had awakened powers he did not understand. And he was determined to use them, to protect Lyra, the Aelari, and maybe one day the galaxy itself. The morning air was thick with tension. The Aelari village, hidden in the folds of the dense Veyara forest, was alive with hurried preparation. Ethan stood at the edge of the courtyard, feeling the strange power inside him hum like a living thing. His veins glowed faintly blue, and every muscle in his body pulsed with energy he was still learning to control. Lyra approached, her expression serious. "They're coming," she said. "The scouts saw the Venari moving through the forest. This isn't a drill, Ethan. They will attack us." Ethan swallowed hard. His mind raced. He had trained, yes, but nothing had truly prepared him for facing the Venari swarm head-on. He looked at the Aelari warriors, their elegant forms ready, weapons shimmering with energy. Then, "We protect them. No one else dies today." The first shrieks echoed through the trees. The Venari were fast, their black bodies weaving through the foliage. Ethan felt the power within him respond instinctively, adrenaline and venom energy mingling into raw strength. His fists clenched and a low hum of energy radiated from him. The first Venari leaped into the clearing, mandibles snapping. Ethan moved before he could think, his reflexes lightning fast. He dodged their strikes, and when he struck back, a burst of energy from his hand sent one skidding across the ground, stunned. The Aelari warriors followed his lead, moving in precise formations, cutting through the predators with fluid, practiced movements. Lyra darted beside him, a blur of speed. Focus, Ethan, don't let them overwhelm you. Ethan nodded, breathing heavily. The battle was chaotic. Venari swarmed like a dark tide, but he found himself moving instinctively, anticipating attacks, sensing danger before it came. His powers surged. He leapt high, knocking a Venari from a tree with a single strike. Every hit he landed, every move he made seemed to inspire the Aelari, yet the fight was brutal. One Venari struck him across the shoulder with its bladed arm. Pain shot through him, but instead of weakening, he felt the venom inside him react. Blue energy coursed through his veins, healing the wound almost instantly. He flexed his muscles and sent a shockwave of energy that knocked several predators off their feet. The Aelari cheered, but Ethan could see fear in their eyes as well. They had never seen a human with such uncontrolled power. He realized that while he could fight, the energy inside him was still unpredictable. One wrong move could harm them, or him. As the battle raged, Ethan noticed Lyra struggling against two Venari at once. Without thinking, he surged toward her, energy blazing from his body. In a blur, he knocked the predators aside and grabbed Lyra, pulling her to safety. Her eyes widened as she realized the force he had wielded. "You're incredible," she said, gasping. Ethan shook his head. Incredible or insane? He gritted his teeth as another wave of Venari attacked. The Aelari elders observed from the edge of the field. Kalen spoke quietly to Soria. "He has the power of the Guardian, but he is still raw. If the Venari Queen learns of this, she will come herself. We must prepare." The battle continued, the forest echoing with shrieks, the clash of energy and steel, and the hum of Ethan's power. At one point he stumbled, exhausted, but the venom energy surged again, revitalizing him. It was as if the Venari's attack had made him stronger rather than weaker. Then, something unexpected happened. A massive Venari brute charged into the clearing, its body larger and more armored than the rest. It barreled through the Aelari defenses, cutting down anyone in its path. Ethan felt a surge of fear, but also determination. He stepped forward, raising his hands, and unleashed a controlled wave of energy that struck the brute squarely. It screamed, staggering backward. The Aelari warriors rallied behind him, their energy blades slicing through the disoriented Venari. Together, human and Aelari fought side by side, their movements synchronized, their courage unwavering. Ethan felt something swell inside him, a connection to these beings, a sense of unity that made him stronger. Finally, after what felt like hours, the forest was quiet now, but the echoes of the battle still lingered. Ethan Cross sat on a smooth rock beside a sparkling stream, his body drained from the fight with the Venari. His veins still glowed faintly blue, a reminder that the venom inside him was alive, powerful, and unpredictable. Lyra joined him, settling beside him with a soft sigh. "You were amazing today," she said. "I've never seen anyone fight like that." Ethan shook his head. "Amazing. I almost lost control more than once. If that energy had gone wrong, I could have hurt someone, or myself." Lyra's eyes softened. "I know, but you didn't. You protected us. That's what matters." Ethan looked at the water, his reflection fractured by ripples. He had saved the Aelari village, but he could feel the cost. The energy inside him pulsed constantly, now demanding attention, demanding control. Every movement, every action, reminded him that the power from the Venari venom was not entirely his own. Soria approached, her expression gentle but serious. "You did well in the battle," she said. "But this is only the beginning. The power within you is strong, but it will strain your body. You must learn to control it fully, or it will consume you." Ethan clenched his fists. "I'm trying. I don't want to be a weapon. I just want to protect." Kalen, the elder, appeared behind Soria. "Protection often requires sacrifice. Power comes with responsibility, Ethan. And you carry both, now." Over the next few days, Ethan trained harder than ever. He practiced controlling his energy, learning to channel it in precise bursts rather than letting it surge uncontrollably. He ran through obstacle courses, lifted objects heavier than he had imagined, and sparred with the Alari warriors to test his reflexes. But the more he pushed, the heavier the burden felt. At night, he would wake drenched in sweat, the energy in his veins humming like a living creature. He began to understand something he had not considered before. The venom's power was not infinite. If he overused it, it could overwhelm him, strip away his humanity, or worse. Lyra noticed the strain. "You're pushing yourself too hard," she said one evening as they sat together beneath the twin moons. "You have to rest, Ethan." "I can't," he replied. "Every day we wait, the Venari could be planning their next attack. And that queen, she'll come for me. I have to be ready." Lyra reached for his hand. "You're not alone. You have us. We'll fight with you. You don't have to bear this alone." Ethan felt a flicker of warmth at her words. She had been with him since the first moment after the bite, guiding him, trusting him, believing in him. That trust was a strength he could draw on, even when the venom threatened to overwhelm him. During one training session, Soria led him to the hidden vault beneath the Ayalari village. Inside were artifacts from a long-lost human expedition, tools, and machines from centuries ago. Among them was a weapon unlike any Ethan had seen, sleek, metallic, and humming faintly with stored energy. It seemed to respond to his presence. Kalen explained, "This weapon was designed to be used with great power. Only one capable of channeling extraordinary energy can wield it. Perhaps you are that one." Ethan lifted it carefully. Energy flowed into him as he held it, mingling with the venom inside. The sensation was intoxicating and dangerous. He could feel the weapon's full potential, but he also felt the risk. If he pushed too far, the energy could burn him out completely. He spent hours practicing with it, learning to synchronize the weapon's energy with his own. Each time he succeeded, he felt a surge of confidence and a reminder of the weight he carried. This power could save lives, but it could also destroy everything if he misused it. At night, Ethan sat alone, staring at the stars through the canopy of the forest. He thought of the Venari queen and her swarm, of the lives at stake, and of the burden he now bore. He realized that being strong was not enough. He needed control, discipline, and wisdom. Otherwise, the power that had saved him might become a curse. Lyra joined him silently, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You've come a long way, Ethan. Don't forget why you fight." He nodded, taking a deep breath. "I fight for everyone. Here. For you. For the Elari. For anyone who can't fight for themselves. That's why I have to learn to control this power, no matter how hard it is." Lyra smiled. "Then we'll face it together." Just as hope began to settle, a scout returned to the village. "The queen knows," he said urgently. "She has sent her army. They march toward us as we speak." Ethan's heart pounded. The threat he had anticipated was real. The Venari queen herself was coming, drawn by the power within him. The Elari began to prepare for battle, and Ethan felt the weight of responsibility heavier than ever. He looked at Lyra. "I don't know if I can do this," he admitted quietly, "but I won't let them down." She squeezed his hand. "You can. You will. You've survived every test so far. This is just another one." Ethan closed his eyes, feeling the venom pulse through him, the weapon humming at his side, and the determination burning in his heart. The burden of power was real, but so was his resolve. The night settled over the village, quiet yet tense, as the stars shone above. Ethan understood that the coming battle would test everything he had learned, the strength, the control, and the courage that made him human. And deep inside, he knew one truth. He might carry a dangerous power, but he would use it to protect, to stand against the darkness and to face the Venari queen herself when she came. Tomorrow the war would begin. This completes part 5. The burden, around 950 words. In simple, clear English third-person style, fully dawn broke over the Elari village with a blood-red sky, and the tension in the air was palpable. Ethan Cross stood at the edge of the training field, the ancient weapon in his hands, its energy humming in perfect sync with the venom power coursing through his veins. Around him, the Aelari prepared for the worst. The queen and her Venari swarm were approaching, and there was no turning back. Lyra stood beside him, her violet eyes steady despite the fear that gripped many others. "Are you ready?" she asked softly. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the raw energy thrumming inside him. "I have to be. For everyone here, I have to be ready." The ground trembled as the Venari swarm emerged from the forest. Thousands of black, chitinous bodies moved as one, their shrieks echoing through the trees. At the center, the queen appeared, taller and more terrifying than any Ethan had imagined. Her eyes gleamed with malice as she fixed her gaze on him. She hissed, a sound that made even the Aelari flinch. "Human," she growled. "You carry what belongs to me. You cannot hide. You cannot survive." Ethan gritted his teeth. "I'm not hiding, and I'm not giving up." He raised the weapon, feeling it pulse in harmony with the energy in his body. He had trained for this, but the battle would test every ounce of strength, focus, and courage he had gained. The swarm surged forward, and the battle began. Ethan moved with precision, energy blasting from his hands, striking Venari with controlled bursts that sent them flying. The Aelari fought alongside him, their weapons cutting through the swarm with fluid grace. Lyra darted through the chaos, her speed and agility unmatched, protecting the wounded and guiding fighters. Ethan's power flared wildly at times, the venom energy reacting to the danger around him. He felt the pull of it, the temptation to let it run free, to unleash everything, in a single wave. But he remembered Lyra's voice, Soria's teachings, Kaelin's words, control. He could not let the power consume him. Then, the queen charged, moving faster than he expected. Her massive claws aimed straight at him. Ethan met her with a burst of energy from the weapon, deflecting her strike. They clashed, energy sparking and echoing through the clearing. Every blow threatened to tear the ground beneath them, yet Ethan held firm, focusing his will. The queen hissed, striking again and again, but Ethan's instincts, honed over weeks of training, allowed him to dodge, parry, and counterattack. He could feel the energy from the venom and the weapon combining, amplifying his speed and strength. Every move was precise, deliberate, controlled. Finally, in a desperate gamble, the queen lunged with her deadliest strike, venom dripping from her fangs. Ethan's body reacted instinctively. He absorbed the attack, feeling the energy burn through him. Pain seared, but he remained standing. He turned the force back against her, channeling all his strength and will into a single focused strike. The queen screamed, the force knocking her back into her swarm. Confused and leaderless, the Venari began to retreat, scattering into the forest. The Aelari cheered, though many were exhausted, wounded, and shaken. Ethan stood, breathing heavily, the weapon humming softly as it synced with his own energy. Lyra ran to him, placing her hand on his shoulder. "You did it," she said, relief and awe in her voice. Ethan shook his head, sweat and dirt streaking his face. "We did it. All of us. But she'll return. I can feel it." Kaelin approached, his expression proud. "You have done more than survive, Ethan. You have led, protected, and risen above fear. You are a guardian, as the legends foretold, and though the Venari queen may return, she will think twice before challenging you again." Soria nodded. "Your control has grown beyond our expectations. But remember, power is a burden as much as a gift. Use it wisely." Ethan looked around, at the Aelari village, the wounded being tended, and the warriors standing tall despite the battle. For the first time, he felt a deep connection, not just to Lyra, but to this entire people. He had come as a human engineer, ordinary and tested. Now he